Am I the a-hole for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face? My situation went from bad to worse in a matter of a week and I don't know where else to turn. I just need to know if I was wrong. Possibly a validation thing because life is effing dumb right now. My wife and I have been together for 8 years and she just gave birth to our first and last baby 2 months ago. Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved her. I'm not sure what the F is wrong with my mom or why the switch happened. But after my wife got pregnant, my mom started being very clingy to me and started avoiding my wife at all costs. She even went as far as to tell everybody that she wasn't excited about the pregnancy. I threatened to go no contact with her when my wife was 7 months along, and after that she finally snapped out of it for the most part and stopped being so ignorant, and though the comments 100% stopped, she was still clingy to me. Now a week ago, my mom, my sister, and my sister's husband and my sister's daughter, 12, came over for dinner. I prepared the meal. Before my wife could eat anything, our daughter got fussy, so my wife excused herself to go feed the baby and get her down to sleep. I thought I prepared enough food, but apparently not because my niece was still starving. She's 5'5" and 190 pounds. I hadn't seen her in a year and she was not that size the last time I saw her, so I didn't expect her to need enough food for an adult. So I guess that's on me. I apologized and told her that I hadn't made any more and I offered her crackers as I was putting my wife's portion in the fridge. After that, I just went outside with my sister's husband to smoke a cigarette and shoot the breeze, and I really didn't think anything of it. But then I hear yelling from inside the house. When I walk in, my wife and my mom were screaming at each other. Apparently, my mom, who saw me put my wife's food in the fridge, went and gave my wife's portion to my niece. As I was walking inside, I heard my mom say, "It looks like you can afford to skip a meal." And then she slapped my wife's stomach. Right as soon as I was getting ready to step in, literally fast walking towards them, yelling enough, my wife winds back and punches my mother square in the face and drops her. The whole house went silent aside from my mom crying and holding her face. I yelled at everybody to get the F out. Immediately, everybody leaves, and then my wife leans against the counter and starts crying. I look at her and say, "You too, leave now." She looks at me and says, "Really?" She's crying at this point, and I clipped, "Yup," and she packs up her and the baby and leaves. I texted her that night and said that I just needed space. I just needed time to decompress and come to terms with what just happened, but she never responded. The next 5 days, I'm texting and calling her and I get nothing. She shows up here 8 days later and hands me over divorce papers. Then she hands me my baby and says, "Here, you have a bit to hang out with her while I pack." She said that we needed to discuss a visitation schedule for my daughter. I told her that that's not what I want. I didn't want a divorce. I just needed time to process the fact that she punched my mom in the face. She said, "Yeah, you needing time to process gave me time to process the fact that I refused to be in this situation any longer." I defended myself. I initially felt bad and remorseful, but you making me leave when I needed you made it more clear than ever. I'm done. I'm sorry for what I did, but there's no fixing this. And then she refused to speak to me for the rest of the time that she was here. Later on, I got a text from my mom saying, "See, I told you she was crazy. That fat bitch doesn't belong in our life." At that point, I blocked my mom completely and I knew that she was the problem. But now I'm just wondering, am I really the bad guy for what I did? I just needed time to process. Yes, you're absolutely the a-hole. I completely understand being a little bit upset about that and needing time to process. But to kick your wife and your baby out of your house, that's not processing crap. If my man ever kicked me out of the house, you better believe that I'm not coming back. And the mom is a 10 out of 10 a-hole. What a bitch.